What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Josh Robinson Show, and 2 weeks in a row now we're having a very special guest, and I'm so excited to, listen, everyone knows Queen at this point, and we chat quite often, and that is not a complaint. More chats the better, but this is technically your first time on the Josh Robinson Show, so welcome, Queen, to the Josh Robinson Show.
Oh my gosh, well, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here, buddy.
Yeah, it seems like we're chatting every other day, and I'm more than fine with that.
Same. We said last time we chatted that we didn't want to wait too long, so, we committed. We did good. I'm proud of us.
We stuck to our word.
We did.
But today is particularly exciting because it's something we've never really had too much of an opportunity to, really dive into. Diving in. Yeah. We're both Disney fans. We both love Disney. We've talked about Disney, in little sprinkles here and there. But I just asked you in the pre-chat. I'll ask you now while we're recording. You're a Disney girl at heart.
I really am.
Disney's just...
I'm in, my beautiful Disney, everything is great mindset. I'm so excited.
Disney is just... It can evoke so many emotion out of you, but at the end of the day, you're always happy when you watch a Disney movie. You can't really be too upset, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You put that on, you start singing, you start grooving, you just have a good time. What's there to hate
on the
about
flip
that?
side, you can cry at a Disney movie.
Or you can cry.
The only movies that I really cry at now are Disney movies, genuinely.
Oh my God, no, for real though. They get you in the feels.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back to little girl Queen here, little lady Queen, little prince, I guess princess at this point.
Princess, oh, Disney princess. Look how that worked.
Disney princess. When you were a little one growing up, what was some of the first memories you have of watching Disney movies?
Oh my gosh. Well, one of the first ones I ever watched was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and The Little Mermaid. But one thing that really always stuck out to me as a kid was Fox and the Hound.
Oh,
and
yes.
Bambi.
Oh, Bambi. Bambi's heart-wrenching.
It's so heart-wrenching. And one of the first memories I have is crying, I'm sure everyone else.
Yeah.
When Bambi's mom got shot. And I was like, this is the worst. I was so young when it came out. But you just can't help but love Thumper, though. So
I don't think I've ever watched Thumper. What's Thumper?
The little bunny is named Thumper.
I don't think I've ever watched it. Oh.
And the skunk is Flower.
Oh, by the way, prefix for everybody here. If you haven't watched any of these movies, there will be spoilers at some point during this. So if you don't like spoilers from movies from 30 years ago, then I guess go and watch Bambi or something and come back.
Yeah, seriously. It's just, that's one of the first memories I have. And then I feel like I had a golden age in my childhood. I had some of the best cartoons, and the Disney movies that came out were wow, lucky me,
Yeah. The first memories that I have of so when I first was, growing up, really Pixar was starting.
Yeah.
Toy Story came out the year I was born. So
oh my God.
Pixar was the stuff that I really Toy Story 2, hands down, is still to this day my favorite movie ever. I love Toy Story 2. So a lot of Pixar stuff was coming out when I was a kid, and really remembering movies. It was Monsters Inc., The Incredibles, or stuff like that was kind of hot. So Pixar movies are always something, Disney Pixar is just something that I just love. But growing up, I remember watching a lot of movies I've watched the Disney princess movies. They're not something I gravitate to, but Bambi's always one that I remember watching as a kid because it's the first time I can remember getting genuinely upset at something on a television screen,
Sure.
Because it's just, Bambi is just, it's just heart. It really is heart-wrenching.
It really is. It really is.
And I've seen it, multiple times, multiple times, and that's still hard to. It's oh man, just that moment, and you're oh God, it's so weird how it can evoke such an emotion out of you when it's an animated thing, but it is crazy how much Disney can just get every kind of emotion out of you and just get you the exact reaction that they want you to. Disney is perfect for that, and it's a juggernaut now. And it's so weird to say this, but coming next month is Disney Plus. Are you going to be giving you $6.99 a month for that?
You better believe it. You better believe it. Listen, I still have my VHS tapes, and I have a VCR still in my basement, right nearby where I'm recording with you right now, so I can watch them on VHS. Like, there is something nostalgic about that. And yes, I have them on DVD too. Don't at me. I have them both. Yes, I do. And Blu-ray. But this Disney Plus gives us access to everything. And new stuff too. And Star Wars. I mean,
well, technically Star Wars is Disney now, so yeah.
Yes, we're gonna get Star Wars stuff.
I mean,
can you imagine?
I'm excited.
Wild.
I'm excited. Disney Plus is starting about a week after the States launch first, and then the rest of the world kind of comes together about a week later. I think that's just to make sure like this shit don't crash when everyone's starting on it at the same time would be just a nightmare. I believe it starts November 12th for you guys. Is that?
I believe so. I think that's right. That sounds right.
It's the 19th for us, so trust me, I'll be signing up for that because you've heard me talk about this before, but Lizzie McGuire is like my childhood show. Like Lizzie McGuire is my stuff, and I cannot wait for the fact that that's coming back. Like, and it's like they've gone full on. Like, if they did a Lizzie McGuire without Hilary Duff, it's just not that you can't do that. Because I know that there was a talk about that. She even said that, I believe. She said they were going to bring back Lizzie McGuire and like a redo and have someone else play Lizzie. And I was like, ooh, no. Hilary Duff has to do that. But a lot of those Disney shows as well growing up was like, just a part of you'd come home from school and you'd watch like Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens, That's So Raven, Hannah Montana a little bit later on. Like those were the shows that I watched. I know we're not the same age, but you feel me on those shows, don't you?
Oh, I do. Listen, Disney TV was a real thing. And I feel like, another thing too with the television was their movies. Like they're made for Disney TV movies. Like The Mummy.
Channel original movies. Yeah.
That's right. Xenon and the Girl of the 21st Century.
Oh my God, yes. I forgot about that movie.
Oh, how can you forget about that movie? It's fantastic.
Cowbells? Do you remember Cowbells?
I sure do.
Oh man, yes.
There was some good stuff.
Yeah,
Halloween Town 2. Like there's a lot of oh my God, what's the other one? Smart House. Like listen, The Luck of the Irish. We could go on.
God. I just these movies kind of escape your brain, but as soon as someone says even just the name of them, you're like, oh my God, like you can like vividly remember, like I remember sitting on my bed or something watching that. Like that's crazy.
Oh. It's such a time, like it brings me back to watching that. Now, Disney used to do this thing too on the actual Disney Channel, like on New Year's stuff. They'd have these big celebrations. They'd show all these movies. They debut new movies. Yeah. That's where High School Musical used to play on repeat, and oh my God, yes, we'll talk about that. But
yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
It's such a throwback to think about that. And like how much of my childhood was like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, like on the regular.
Yeah, Nickelodeon as well. I was always probably more of a Disney kid. I watched more of the Disney shows, but Nickelodeon certainly had, all that. The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, Keenan and Kel. Like, I used to watch all of those shows as a kid because, we had basic, I guess, what you would call basic cable over there, which had the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon in that package. So, I was able to watch those shows. SpongeBob, Rugrats was like the first real cartoon that I ever really remember watching was Rugrats. So I used to watch all of those like Nicktoons and stuff.
Yes.
You were more Disney, but you certainly did still watch Nickelodeon.
Well, see, it was a little different for me because when I was growing up in the 90s, the Nickelodeon cartoons, I feel like any 90s kid will tell you that it's like absolutely stellar. Ren and Stimpy and like Hey Arnold,
Rocko's
Doug,
Modern Life.
Rocko's Modern Life.
Yes.
Cat Dog, Real Cat Monsters.
Dog. Oh my God.
We had everything. We had everything.
Yeah.
So it was tough in that way because the cartoons I felt like were better at Nickelodeon when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But then Disney kind of started to take over that realm a little bit.
Yeah.
As the years progressed, and like I've shared with you before, my brother and I are 11 years apart. So like when he was watching Disney Channel as a kid, it was very different than it was when I was a kid. Yeah. So it was kind of cool to see it from both perspectives because you and my brother are similarly aged.
Yeah.
You're older than him, but similar,
Similar, yeah.
Right.
same kind of, you know, time frame. So
Exactly.
we watched probably the same stuff. That's probably why you watched a lot of like Hannah Montana, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, like that
Sweet Life
kind
of
of
Zach
stuff.
and Cody.
Do you remember Phil of the Future?
Phil of the Future. He loved that one. Yes.
That was the only one. My brother's about 7 years older than me, so that was the only one he would sit down and watch with me, was Phil of the Future, because he liked that. But Phil of the Future, Wizards of Waverly Place, used to just be my after school, you know, it'd come on at like, I believe in Australia, new episodes of those shows would be like Thursdays and Fridays at 5:30 on Disney Channel. That was the time. So it was just before dinner. Like you could get in just before mum would be like, yo, you coming to eat dinner at the table? I could watch my show and then go eat. It was like the perfect time. I feel like Disney knew.
They did. They played it on purpose.
but those shows were so like, they were just like within me as a kid going into like the early teens and stuff like that. And then you get too cool for Disney. By the time like Good Luck Charlie came out, I was like, no, I'm too cool for Disney. I'm going to MTV now. I'm going to go watch Jersey Shore. Like I was like, I'm done with this.
You're done. You aged out.
I was like, I'm too old for this now. But now like I can scroll through and be like, oh, hell yeah, That's So Raven's coming on. I'm going to get some popcorn. I'm good to go. Like, even watching those shows now, it's just like, wow, it's such a trip just going back and looking at all those shows. Nickelodeon had great shows as well. Like, I remember watching iCarly and stuff like that as well.
Sure.
But
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh man, it's just, everything is just like running through me as I'm just like,
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Do you remember Clarissa Explains It All?
Do I remember? Are you kidding me? I wanted
like
a window because of her.
They're literally my brother's favorite. Ned's
So
Declassifieds. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yes.
101 Deeds of Eddie McDowd. Do you remember that?
I remember hearing about that. I wasn't as much into that one, but
fair. But yeah, just all of this stuff that just it is a part of your childhood. It's not just like, you know, something that you watch. It's something that you just, you know, we talk about wrestling a lot. We're very much big wrestling fans. But, of course, as a kid, we were wrestling fans, but we didn't understand it. This was our obsession. We would just watch the Disney Channel whenever we could.
Sure. Absolutely.
So it's become a part of us, really. It is a part of me, at least. It's a chunk of my life that I'll still always remember and still always look very fondly over.
Oh, 100%. I totally agree there.
It is crazy, though, that for so many years you watch all of these shows, and then of course you get to an age where you're just like, I don't want to watch these anymore. And now I'm at an age where I'm just like, no, if I can watch a Hannah Montana marathon on Disney Channel right now, I'm gonna, and it's gonna be great. There was this thing, so New Year's Day they used to put like marathons of shows on Disney Channel here.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works over there,
same.
But the Hannah Montana Cabana was a thing. That was
God!
Never ever forget that name. The Hannah Montana Cabana. It was a whole 24-hour from New Year's at midnight to midnight the next day. It would just be a Hannah Montana marathon. And my brother was so hungover one year that he sat and watched the entire day with me until I went to bed.
Oh my god, I love that.
He just laid on my bed and I sat on like a beanbag chair right in front of my TV. You know, as a kid, you just sit right in front of the TV and just stare right at the TV, get square eyes. And I just sat and watched the Hannah Montana Cabana all day. I think Dylan maybe laughed once.
Oh.
He was so dead to the world, though. He was just like, oh, God, this will do.
Oh, this will do, right?
And he'd just send me out. He would be like, go get some food. I was fine because I got to sit with my brother and watch Hannah Montana. I was the best of both worlds.
You're in heaven. And you got to eat food. What's better than that?
I was fine. I was fine with it. You know, so we did mention Disney Pixar, and we'll spend a little bit of time with Pixar because I love Pixar movies. You love Pixar movies. I mean, anybody under the sun should really love Pixar movies. Maybe not all of them, but for the majority, I love Pixar movies. Of course, I mentioned Toy Story. Toy Story is just a franchise that's just, I mean, it's the Toy Story 4 come out earlier this year, so it's a franchise that's still thriving. When do you remember you first watched Toy Story when it first kind of came out?
I sure did, and so did like A Bug's Life.
Oh, Bug's Life.
That was
underrated. That's an underrated Pixar movie.
It is an underrated Pixar movie, and those were like the first two that kind of came out like to the party, like for real. And that's when we were like, what is this? And Toy Story was such a like a momentous like experience to see this movie. What's that?
It's a juggernaut. It's just like,
oh my God,
it's just a huge, you look at it today and it's, I mean, everybody knows what Toy Story is in some capacity.
That's right. And it's been like it's been so far expanded. Now they're like we said in the fourth. But like Toy Story came out. I watched that like in the movie theater. It was 1995. Like we went to the movies to see that.
It's the same age as me. It was like literally it came out like 4 or 5 days before I was born.
Yeah, and then A Bug's Life was a few years later, and then we're off to the races, Toy Story 2, and then things start to really pick up business, like Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles, and Monsters Incorporated, and then it just starts to go.
It really started to like spot, and they just were just like, yep. There was a few that I didn't love. I don't love Ratatouille. That's not.
I don't like that one either.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Incredibles though, and everyone gets on me for that.
I didn't like the second one. I really liked the first one.
I didn't even watch the second one. I didn't really love the first one though. But Ratatouille is probably up there. That's something I haven't watched a lot of the newer ones except for like the sequels and stuff like that.
Sure.
But Up. Let's talk about Up for a minute because
that's the movie.
That's so sad. That makes you cry within the first like 10 minutes. When
Literally.
he is you know, they slowly show her getting sicker and they get older and stuff like that. And how, like, he's so happy and then just becomes so depressed and sad. And you're just like, I feel you, dude. Like, that movie made me sob. Like, I was in tears. I would still watch that now and cry. But I think Up is probably, it's not my favorite Pixar movie, but I think it's the most brilliantly put together Pixar movie.
Yeah, storyline wise and the message of Up, I think they really nailed it. I think that and Toy Story are the two best like message Pixar movies.
I like WALL-E as well. That's got a good message as well.
Yeah, that does have a good message as well. I just don't really like robots. Like it's not really my thing.
That's fair.
Like he's okay, but there's too much like robot noise for me, which is why I like Transformers,
the first,
but
like,
I can't.
40 minutes there's no dialogue really.
Right, and I just, especially when I was younger, I just didn't have the patience for that. And I was like, okay, it's whatever. But in terms of your message, I agree. But for me personally, it's Toy Story and Up that I was just like, I don't know how you top that. It's not my favorite Pixar movie either. No. But I think it's because I'm more upset about the fact that I was sobbing at a cartoon.
I was sobbing like a baby. Like it was just
literally like a baby.
Oh man, it was so sad to watch that. Every time I watch that, I'm just like, can we skip this bit? Because I know what happens and it's going to make me cry and I don't need to be crying for the next 20 minutes of my life. I don't need to be crying and like eating. Like you're almost like emotionally eating for him because you're like, oh shit, this is just so sad. But that one hits me a lot. Here's a bit of one that people have diverse opinions on. What do you think of Cars?
Okay, so it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my favorite. However, at this point, when it first came out, it was like, I don't know, mid 2000s. So I was like just in college. Yeah. So my brother was the one really watching it. So for him, he really liked it. Yeah, he was like, he really liked it. It was cool. But I know it's gotten to like a really cool franchise. And I know like even now, like my nephew is obsessed with Cars. But like he's 3.
Yeah, so for anything on the screen.
So anything on the screen is this point to be into. But he really likes the cars because he loves vehicles. So he has a whole collection of all the cars. That's weird. But he has
all the cars.
Stuff. Yeah, the cars. And he has like construction stuff. So like he's just into it for that. But I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to. Like I feel like it had a lot of potential, but not so much. What did you think?
The sequels I don't like. The original Cars I don't mind. I don't love it, don't hate it, but the sequels, I don't even think there was 3, wasn't? I don't think I even watched the third one. I watched the second one, but there was a third one, wasn't there?
There's a third one, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
I don't think there's a fourth. But there's a third.
Oh, don't worry. There probably will be. If Disney are very good at milking anything. If we learn anything with Disney, they will get every penny out of it they can, which is, business-wise, you can't hate that, but that's just what Disney are known for. You look at the Star Wars franchise and stuff like that. They are getting everything they can out of Star Wars, out of whatever. I mean, High School Musical is becoming a series on Disney Plus, I'm pretty sure. So they're really trying to get everything they can. So of course they'll probably make a fourth Cars, but they made 4 Toy Stories, and I love all of the Toy Stories. I don't love the fourth one. I'm not a...
Yeah, I didn't like it either. The 1 through 3 were fine. 3 is my least favorite.
Same here.
But that's okay.
It certainly wasn't bad, and it was a
really
good ending.
Bad.
It was a good ending.
Good ending. Very good ending.
Like
and
the
that's
perfect ending almost.
Yes.
And then they went and shat on that, didn't they, with the fourth one. I was going into the fourth one going, okay, listen, I go into Disney Pixar movies, especially things that I'm attached to, with like, I want you to make me laugh and I want you to make me cry. I didn't do either. I didn't really laugh at it. I didn't cry at it. It wasn't really sad. Spoilers for anyone that hasn't watched Toy Story 4. We understand it's fairly recent movie.
It's fairly recent, but
spoiler warning. I'll put a big graphic on the screen. Spoiler warning. It just, the ending, I was like, is that the part where I meant to cry here? Because it really wasn't that sad, and it was kind of cheap.
I got no emotion.
I was like, Woody's he's chasing his Woody.
It's like, why? That's why I left that movie. I was like, why did I watch this? This is terrible.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I wanted to remember it as it was.
I went with my brother and his girlfriend, and I looked at him and I was like, what? I just wasted like $20 watching this that I didn't need to watch.
For real.
I didn't need to watch this. Even I was sitting, I can't remember if I was sitting next to my brother or next, like she was in the middle. I can't remember, but I looked at one of them and they were just like, we could have went bowling or something for an hour, like, and I would have been much more satisfied than this. I was like, yeah.
Well, don't you think?
It just was a waste of it. It honestly was just. Not that the movie was like dog shit. It wasn't like horror, like, oh my god, this movie is so bad.
No.
It was just fine, but Toy Story has no business being fine, in my opinion.
Not when it set the precedent it's set. I mean, come on.
Like, I said Toy Story 2 is my favorite movie ever. I love Toy Story 2. I love the first one. The third one's pretty good as well. It had a great ending because of that double kind of swerve at the end where you think they're going to die in the garbage thing and you're like, oh shit, this is the end. But then they're fine and then they end up going with that little girl and you're like, perfect. Andy's going away. He's gone. He's given the toys up. What a great ending. And then they go and do this and it's basically a love story.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It just... I really do feel strongly that there's a reason why trilogies are trilogies. And I feel like that ending in Toy Story 3, it needed to stop there. And like, I get it. Toy Story is just a monster. Like you said, it's a behemoth. It's huge. It's a juggernaut. It's a big deal. And I feel like it has no business sucking.
It doesn't.
Or being anything
I'm
less
the same.
than perfect. Because it's perfect. That first movie... You could have made no more movies, right? And that would have been standalone, one of the most perfect animated films of all time.
It could be your blueprint for any movie that you make.
Absolutely. Absolutely right.
It's not like Toy Story, even the first 3 are very complicated movies. They're fairly simple formulas when you look at them. They have a very beginning, middle, end. And that's how any movie should flow. The fourth one is just kind of like everywhere. There's no real structure to it. There's so much happening, and I feel like they're trying to introduce characters when it doesn't really... Like, the Toy Story franchise is built on just the toys that we have. I understand you have new characters here and there. You had Jessie in the second one, and you had, the toys within the childcare in the third one and stuff like that. That's fine, but it felt like they were trying to put too many eggs in a small basket here.
Yeah. I think you said that perfectly. And... I wish I could just do an Etch-a-Sketch and just boop, 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 erase it. Because I just...
Etch-a-Sketch, toys.
Yeah. See, I'm bringing it to the 90s. Okay.
Who's your favorite toy in Toy Story?
Oh, Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, I'm a Woody guy.
Well, I mean, they're both really great for different reasons. But whenever I saw Buzz Lightyear in the first movie, I just was like...
So dumb.
He's so stupid and I love him.
I just will never...
He's a total idiot, but I love him so much.
It's such an iconic line, but it is just... It's not flying, it's falling with style.
It's falling with style.
That always hits me right. I'm just like, yes. Or there's a snake in my boot. Whenever it gets, there's a snake
There's
in
a
my.
snake in my boot.
I love. The only one that I love Bullseye. I'm a sucker for Bullseye because he's just the cutest little thing ever. And Slinky, I love Slinky.
Slinky, I love Slinky too. Good show.
I mean, they're all. Rex is great because he's just a crybaby and sometimes relatable. I can relate sometimes. I like Emperor Zurg. I
Love Emperor Zurg.
I don't really like Jessie. That's what I'm trying to get. Jessica. Although Toy Story 2, when she gets left and Sarah McLachlan plays,
I know, it's the worst. It is the worst.
That is so sad. That is, oh man.
It's that song though. It's not Jessie. It's the song.
Yeah, it's the song, and like how she's just sitting there, and I'm like, how could you leave her there? She might suck, but she's still your toy. Because every kid had an attachment to their toys. I mean, I had an attachment to my toys. I had wrestling action figures as a kid. That was and Action Men. Do you remember? Did you get them? Yeah. I used to take my sister's Barbie, and I had to take my Action Man, and I used to play with them in the bath, and Action Man would save Barbie from drowning.
Yeah, right?
He was the hero of the day.
He was the hero. Yes, he was your hero. But you know something funny, like low key, but actually high key, because I'm being them for Halloween. I'm being the aliens from Pizza Planet.
Oh my god. The Claw. Yeah.
The Claw is my master.
Oh my god, see, that's when I wish Australia would be a little bit more into Halloween, because I would love to dress up. Australia, it's not a real big deal over here. Like, some people celebrate it, but it's not like a massive thing. Like, everybody celebrates it in the States.
I know, right? It's a big deal here.
Yeah, I would love to spend a Halloween in the States. Maybe that's when I should travel. I mean, Josh is looking at traveling next year to the old USA. Maybe I should come in October.
Oh, maybe you should. The best month ever. Now, listen, Halloween is a big deal. It's actually my favorite holiday other than Christmas.
Love Christmas.
I go all out. My entire house is decorated for Halloween. Yes. I throw a Halloween party. My birthday is right before Halloween. So it's a big month for Queenie, let me tell you. But I saw this this dress of the alien, and it makes you look like, the little stuffed alien. And I was like, this is perfect. And then I have Mr. Queen as Buzz Lightyear.
Oh my god, that is the best. So, all right. So in other words, I'll see you this time next year. Make up a spare bed for me.
I already have a room. You can come anytime to let me know.
That is a great costume. Now, we did mention before, there is a certain franchise that's now a part of the Disney world, that is Star Wars. I am a mad Star Wars fan that has some very hot takes on Star Wars, as you know. Are you a Star Wars fan throughout?
No.
No,
I'm not.
That's fair.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Growing up, my uncles were super into Star Wars. And for me, I felt like my Star Wars was Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
I've never really watched Lord of the Rings.
Oh, see, that's my jam.
That's probably a hot take. I've watched Harry Potter, but not all of them.
Oh, Josh, we have to fix that. Lord of the Rings is something very, very special. I loved the books, but the movie, I felt like it couldn't have gotten any more perfect. This was a time where the movies completely nailed the story. It's such a rare thing that happens. And Star Wars, I just couldn't really ever get into. Fair. But Mr. Queen is obsessed.
Oh, yeah, because we've had chats between you and me and DMs.
That's right.
Everyone, I'm going to get absolutely roasted. I've put this on the internet before, but my favorite Star Wars is The Phantom Menace. And even people that don't know Star Wars know that that's a very hot take.
It's a very hot take. You said this and I was like, oh, this is not good. I even know that, and I don't love Star Wars, and I know that that's not the right one, Josh.
You know why it is, though? It's the first Star Wars that I ever watched.
Sure.
So I think it just holds nostalgia in my heart. But even watching it now, I see why people don't like it, but I don't know. I just don't. I like it. My favorite character is in Star Wars, the Phantom Menace, and that Qui-Gon Jinn is my favorite character ever. So put that out there. But I don't know. Star Wars is. I mean, even people that aren't fans of it, it's actually kind of nice talking to someone that isn't so much like a quote unquote fan of Star Wars, because even from the outside, you can see that is just that is one of the biggest franchises maybe ever. I mean, you put the word Star Wars on something and it just, it breaks records, it sells things out. Like, there's games, there's toys, there's movies, there's television series. Like, I mean, I think Star Wars is going to have a pretty big factor into Disney Plus.
Oh, I think it's going to have a huge factor. They're already doing stuff for it. And, you know, the thing for me is that I just couldn't get into the original ones. I will say, and I hated the ones with Natalie Portman and
Hayden
whatever his name is there. Yeah, Hayden Christensen. I was like, nope.
He's a little bit.
He's a dreamboat, but no thank you.
He's always got sand on him or something. He's always crying. It's like,
he's always crying. I'm like, ugh, for God's sake, shut up. So I feel like seeing that kind of put me even more off of it than I was already. But I will say, the most recent one, I think, which was Return of the Jedi, right?
Last Jedi.
And then Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Was it The Last Jedi? Return of the Jedi is the original one.
In the original trilogy, Last Jedi.
Yeah. Okay, so the newest one was The Last Jedi. See, this is how, I'm sorry. I know everyone's going to hate, not like Star Wars.
Everyone's going to be like, what the hell, Queen? You should know that's in the original trilogy.
Fuck off. Anyway, so... Give me a break. I can't be into every single nerd fandom out there, okay? But the Last Jedi, the one with Kylo Ren and her, and he like invited her to the dark side, and I was like, what is this? This is magical. I think it just, something about that one really hit for me.
Yeah.
And I was like,
people don't like that one.
What's that?
A lot of people don't like The Last Jedi.
I didn't like the whole thing, but I liked the storyline between those two.
Oh, that's fair.
I liked that they were teaming up. I liked that they were trying to like end certain things, but then he was like, fuck it, everybody's stupid. Let's just band together and take over the world together. Like, let's do it.
Not the worst logic, to be honest.
Not the worst logic. I actually thought you made the wrong choice. I mean, that shows I'm a dark side, but what can I tell you?
You would definitely be a Sith then.
Hell yeah. I would have one of those and mine would light up purple instead of red. But
fair.
Like I just liked the whole thing, and the thing that really got me, I think, was when she looked at him and she almost pulled the trigger, you know?
Yeah.
And was like, yeah, like maybe this is what we should do, and then obviously not.
Yeah.
But that was something about it, for me, in the first time watching all of these movies, because Mr. Queen made me.
Good Mr. Queen. You tell him that from me. Good Mr. Queen.
I will.
Pat on the back.
I will. Give him a pat on the back. But that was the first time that I was actually interested in the storyline. I was like, ooh. Dope.
You can at least understand it. Watching other, fandoms and stuff like that, like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, you can understand why people love Star Wars. I think anybody can understand why they're attached to anything, really. But it is Harry Potter is something that I haven't watched all of, but I certainly like what I've seen. I think I've seen the first one, the second one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. I have
Harry Potter is what's up.
I mean, the first one, I believe it has a different title internationally. Is that... It's called the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, that's what it's called here, but it's not there, is it?
It's not. It's the Sorcerer's Stone here.
Yeah. Why is that? Is the book called... What's the book called?
Right. So in the UK and abroad, she named it the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
And then in the American prints, it's the Sorcerer's Stone. And there's a full reason behind it. And even the artwork is different.
Oh.
But I can't remember it off the top of my head at this moment, which makes me a very bad Harry Potter fan. But
they're going to be on you in the comments. Oh, Queen doesn't even know what she likes.
I don't know. Queen likes everything. Get off my back. But I love Harry Potter like so much. I think I love the books way more than the film.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. I've never read the book because I'm not a reader. But but a lot of people say that they're a fan, like a series of movies that are nowhere near as good as the books.
Nowhere near as good. I mean, they're good, but they're not. Not the same.
How did you feel when you originally... So you read the books way before the movies, or was it when the movies came out you started reading the books?
Right. So the first book came out in 1997, and I started reading them, I'd say, I think 99. And they had... Like, they were coming out... the books were, like, being released, and I would read them as they were released. Yeah. And then we get the Sorcerer's Stone 2001. Yeah. So right after I started reading is when the movie started to come out. Right. So that was really interesting, right?
It was kept fresh on your mind.
It was really fresh, and the books were like in sync a little bit with what was happening in the film. So that I thought was kind of cool. And I was like, oh, okay. And then by that point, they had started to come out every every year, basically.
Yeah,
We'd get a
basically.
new book and then we get a new movie. And it was really special in that way because you could read it and then you could go see it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't often happen.
No, it doesn't. Usually there's a fairly big time gap between,
Hmm?
because they usually go through and see if the book does well, and then, see if they want to adapt it into a film or whatever the reason may be. But usually there is a gap. I do remember there not really being that much of a gap, so my memory serves me correctly, I guess. But yeah, I don't know why. I guess one day I'll probably go with and watch through all of the Harry Potters. But I don't know. I guess I was just at a weird age. I was in that in between age when I was like, am I too young? Am I just not into this? I don't know. One day I'm sure I'll get into it because I didn't dislike the movies that I've seen. I remember liking all of them. I think The Chamber of Secrets is probably one of the better movies I've ever seen. I love The Chamber of Secrets. So
Yeah, it was a great film.
yeah, it was really good. I haven't watched it in a long time. But maybe once Star Wars starts to die down a little bit, and then I guess Disney Plus will come out, and then I'll be like, I'm not going to watch anything else but whatever is on Disney Plus, because there'll just be everything that I want.
I know,
it'll just be
right?
wrestling Disney Plus. I'll just buy the 2 subscriptions, network and Disney Plus. That'll be me all day, every day. Which
You'll
isn't
be
the
all
worst
set.
combo, by the way.
No, it's
a
not.
pretty sweet deal.
It is a pretty sweet deal. And you know what I was wondering too? When you asked me to come on and talk about this, I really wanted to ask you something in particular.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all these remakes? Like live action versions
I have an opinion
of
on those.
our cartoons.
Okay,
I'm
so
very interested because like The Jungle Book, right?
and Aladdin,
Mulan
and
now. Aladdin.
Lion King, and
Lion-
all that.
oh,
And they're big.
yeah.
These big deals. Like Lion King was everywhere. Like when Lion King was coming out earlier in the year, I didn't watch. So hot take. I've never watched The Lion King in general.
Me neither.
It's one movie I've never
Wait
watched.
a minute. Like in general?
I've never watched it. I've seen
Like
bits
the
of
cartoon?
it. Never.
Are you kidding?
Yep, never.
But Scar.
I know what it is. I know what it's about. I've seen little snippets of it. It's my brother's favorite movie. I've never watched it. So there was a little part of me that when The Lion King was coming out earlier in the year that was like, I don't care, but I understood it. But in your answer to remakes, I don't like. I said before, Disney likes to get everything out of anything. They like to just milk everything so they can make sure they get everything out of it, make some money, which businessly I understand. But as a person watching these and as a person who's been alive through all of it, it makes me a little like worried. Because you look at everything with remakes, whether it's movies, television shows, video games, like everything's getting remastered or redone. It's like, do we not have enough there's no original like feeling in the world anymore. We just run out of ideas and then remake the stuff that we watched. And to a certain degree, I'm not saying that these films or these games or these television shows are bad. It's just they kind of tarnish what they were, in my opinion, because I mean, you look at it from this standpoint as in the fact of like, we watch these and there's a certain level of nostalgia with a lot of these movies.
Sure.
There always will be. And that already puts it a little bit above everything else in your mind, at least. Even if the quality may be not even there anymore, it's always going to be looked at a little bit better in our eyes, at least, because it's nostalgia. But I feel like it just takes away that kind of feeling of that, and you're just watching something that you watch when you're a kid, but it's not the same, and it kind of leaves me feeling a little bit like ugh with them. And it's just like, think of an original idea. That's my opinion on it anyway. I don't watch a lot of the remakes and stuff that they do, to be completely honest. I don't know about you, but how do you feel about that kind of stuff?
So I don't like them either, really. And that's more for my own personal taste. Like I like them the way that they were, because that's how I saw them, right? So I have a hard time trying to see something remade with new people. Now, I will say there is something to the idea that for a new generation, you remake it in their point of view, in their perspective, right? You know, it's a different world. We're more diverse.
Very different world.
Represented. Right. It's a very different world. And that I don't think is a bad thing at all.
No.
And I want that to happen. I just feel like it takes away something from the original if it's too soon, I guess. Like 1997 really isn't that long ago.
It really isn't.
So I feel like we need to put a little bit more distance in my viewpoint between that. And I know like someday they'll remake Lord of the Rings, and I know someday they'll remake Harry Potter. I just don't know how.
Yeah, it's like
it just won't be the same,
no.
And that's the same thing I feel about reboots, right?
Mhm.
And I'm very excited that like Lizzie McGuire's coming back, and like I was a huge Gilmore Girls fan, and they
That came back,
redid
yeah.
something later, and they did
Will
a
and
reboot.
Grace. Will
Will
and
and
Grace
Grace.
came, yeah. That
It
scares
sounded
me
good.
though, because they're never up to, Lizzie McGuire will not be the same as it was in 2001. Let's just be,
No.
I'm still gonna watch it, but
Of
it's not
course.
gonna be the same.
No.
That's what scares me, and that's what one of the amazing things is, that I'm glad they're not doing it with Friends. I'm glad they've kind of been like, we don't want to do it because we don't want to ruin what we had. Because if they made Friends now, it wouldn't be the same Friends that was on in the early
No.
2000s. It's a different world. They're older. It doesn't work the same. As much as I would be like, sign me up on the dotted line, I'm going to go watch this, it just wouldn't be the same. That's with anything though. It seems to be every time a show ends, it could be gone for a year now, and they're like, revival, let's do a couple more seasons. Come on, let's do this. It's like, I mean, I love Parks and Rec. I mean, that show ended in 2016 or 17. They're always like, come on, let's do another reboot. And it's like, let the show breathe, dude. Like, maybe in 10, 20 years, when there's actually a thought in my mind that I might want to, I love the show, but I don't really want to see the characters again. It had a fitting end, had a nice run, and it was good in its times. I don't want it to get to the point where it couldn't be good. That's with anything, though. If anything runs too long, you never want to see it get bad. I mean, it's just, you never want to see that. You want to remember it for what it was. But it seems to be everything. Like, I don't know why I'm thinking of this, because I never really watched Gossip Girl, but there's a Gossip Girl reboot happening. And it's like, didn't that just end like 3 years ago? Like, why does this need to be rebooted? I understand Will and Grace. Okay, that was a long time ago. Gilmore Girls, that was a long time ago. But why are these shows that are ending 2 or 3 years ago, why are they in talks of having a reboot? It's not necessary. We just seen them.
I know. It's a comment on your point about creative, and it feels like it's everywhere, Josh. Anymore. There's no original creative anywhere anymore.
That's across the board. We talk about that a lot, having original creative ideas in any entertainment field. It seems to be a problem across the board. Is that things just keep getting redone because, hey, the end of the day, if Friends come back, if Parks and Rec come back, it's not like I'm not going to give these things a chance, because of course I will. But there's only so long you can milk that before it just is like, okay, this isn't what I remember. This isn't cool anymore. Like, it's just not fun to watch anymore. Like, I love the show Veep. I don't know if you ever watched Veep.
I know of it. I know what's her face is there with the beautiful black curly hair.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld.
That's right. Yeah. From Seinfeld, yes. I just remember her for her beautiful hair.
Like, that show ended this year, and they're already asking her in magazines, like, when is it going to come back? And she's like, it ended in June. Like, I don't need to talk about a reboot for this show.
That's way too soon.
But that's like the way that the entertainment world and the media is wired now. Everything ends, and it's never really the end anymore. Because
it's never really the end. Nothing ever really dies.
Anything can come back now in any way, shape, or form, whether it's whatever. But it does kind of irk me a little bit. But I'm the stupid person that will still go and watch it. So I can't say too much, because I still will go and watch it. And I guess probably you will as well.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. Some things I won't, because I just don't want it ruined. And that's like so selfish in a way, because there's probably a lot of people who haven't seen maybe even the original and would like to watch this new version because it may connect with them more. And I can't stop them from doing that. Honestly.
I have a 10-year-old brother. I have a 10-year-old brother. He's never seen The Lion King, and he went and watched it and loved the new Lion King. So I'm like, okay, I mean,
it's just generational. It's different. But yeah, there's some things I won't do. I'm like, nope.
I'm the same. I just wish that any kind of field of entertainment would have just some original ideas and just try something new. I mean, there's a tired format in television in general. I think a lot of like the sitcoms have kind of run a little bit dry. I mean, we've seen the same format of like a sitcom since the mid 90s really, or the early 90s with Seinfeld and Friends. They kind of set the tone, and then everything just kind of followed, and every show is just kind of a base on that, like every sitcom and stuff like that. And I think I think an audience is, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired of that format.
I am really tired of it too.
And I don't think sitcoms do as well as they used to. Ratings, whatever. They're just not a draw anymore unless you have the right. I mean, you still have successful sitcoms like, I mean, The Big Bang Theory was huge. As much as I didn't like it, it was a huge show, and stuff like that. Quick take on The Big Bang Theory. Did you like that show?
I never watched it. I couldn't get into it after the first few episodes. I just couldn't do it.
I am very.
I didn't like it. I know they were like, "Oh, it's so full of banter and funny and like nerdy."
Now. Like it's
huge. I hate it.
How I Met Your Mother was huge. I like that, but it's all that kind of tired format that's just kind of been milked dry. I keep saying that, but it's just a term that is just very relevant in this situation. But
it is tired. I agree.
But let's move on from this because let's talk about this. Because we've been waiting to talk about it. We've mentioned Disney. We've mentioned certain things like Hannah Montana, and they were huge. But there's one franchise within the Disney world that started on the Disney Channel that eventually went to theaters. It is just so, like, just entwined in me. It is just a part of me. It's got my heart. It's got my head. It's got everything in between, I think, in a weird way. That is High School Musical. We kind of mentioned that it's coming to Disney Plus as like I think it's got like a kind of Glee feel to it. I don't know exactly how to go.
It's going to be a TV show.
I'm pretty excited for it on Disney Plus. We'll talk about that in a minute. But High School Musical came out, and I believe in 2006, 2005, 2006, the original one came out. I think it was 2006, but it could be
2006,
wrong.
You're right.
Yeah. And it was, I seen it on an ad on Disney Channel, and I was like, okay, I love any kind of music. I love corny television show, especially at that age of the right tender age of 10. I was very much ready to watch anything like that. It was a love story. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to like this. Now, long and behold, I didn't realize I was going to like it as much as I did. But watching High School Musical 1, we'll get to the other ones in a minute, but did that just... Did you just have like an out-of-body experience watching that like I did?
You know what was so funny about watching High School Musical for the first time? Well, first of all, you're like, High School Musical, and it's Disney, so you know it's going to be cheesy in the perfect way, right?
And you just love that. It's not even very good acting, by the way.
No, but it's great.
The first one especially is like, ooh, this isn't great.
It's terrible, but it's awesome at the same time, right? So when this came out, so I'd shared with you before about I was a theater kid. I was a theater kid all my life and a theater kid in college, which is when this came out. And my mom was like, your brother really wants to watch this new thing. It's called High School Musical. It's, they saw the ad too, and like, Troy Bolton is a basketball player and, this big sports guy, but he likes to sing. And, I dragged my brother into my theater world a little bit. He was in some of my shows in high school. So he won't admit that now.
Like a good big sister.
Like a good big sister would. Listen, theater's where it's at. Watching this for the first time made me like miss my high school theater so bad. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what it was like. We were like singing in the hallways and singing in the back and painting sets. And there was somebody with a piano constantly composing something. Like that's just really how it was for real. But like obviously amped up Disney wise. But
yeah. Oh yeah, of course, because Disney have to turn everything up to 11. They're
everything up to 11, which is fine. And it just was like, oh, it's like kind of like modern Romeo and Juliet love story and star-crossed lovers in two different sections of the school and what's gonna happen, and he's got so much pressure to play basketball from his dad. It was so much drama, but it's so good. Yeah, it's
like the music in High School Musical 1. You look at High School Musical 1 to High School Musical 3, they're very different in the time of like I guess not the quality. I don't want to say the quality because they're all great songs, but it is very different, if you know what I mean. Like there's a different feel without the three movies. Every movie has its own kind of feel. That's what I love about High School Musical, the series of the trilogy of movies, is because each one is very different from one another. They all have a very different plot line. They all have a very different feel, very different look. But the first one in particular, I mean, the first song in the first one, the start of something new, I mean, that just kind of got us off to the races with everything else. And it's just like, I remember watching that. I believe I watched it with my mum and my sister, I believe. I just remember being like, oh, I'm gonna really like this, and I'm gonna learn all
Hmm.
the words to these songs. I remember having the CD of High School Musical. I had them all
Me
on
too.
CD.
Me too.
Remember buying CDs? We don't do that anymore, do we?
No, we don't do that anymore. But
We just
listen, I
got
used
Spotify.
to. That's right.
But just watching that, and as cheesy as it sounds, it really was the start of something new, wasn't it?
It was. It kicked off this era. I feel like the Disney movies had kind of slowed down at this point. They weren't
Especially
at the
Disney
same.
Channel original movies. They were kind
That's
of
what I
like,
mean.
they were just kind of
Right.
like, like they were fine, but they were all kind of the same. Oh my god, I just thought of something really randomly that I have to like blurt out. Do you remember Cadet Kelly?
Yes, I do.
That
Great
is like
film.
probably one of my favorite Disney Channel original movies. Just
Yeah.
what a great movie. Anyway, go on with High School Musical. I just
No,
randomly
you're
thought of
totally
that.
fine. Because she was in that show, the girl in Cadet Kelly, the brunette. She was
Yeah.
in the show with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, even
And
Stevens.
even Stevens. Great
Yes,
show.
great
Anyway,
show.
great shout. This was such a different thing. This made musical theater cool.
Yeah.
Like when I graduated college in 2008 and went back home because I went to school out of state and I took my first job, one of the other things I did on the side is produce theater and direct theater. And they wanted to do High School Musical so bad. And we got the rights to it a couple of years later, like 2010, I think. And because they just made it for high schools to actually perform it. Like, that's how big this thing got, right? And the amount of people that we had turn out for that, we were sold out every show.
Yeah.
We had to add matinees because people were begging to come because kids loved it.
Yeah,
And it was great for your family. It was such a smart business move by Disney to put
Disney
this
knew
out.
that.
This like set the precedent for Glee. It made musical theater cool, and it made singing cool. And it was like people who had the, like, oh, I'm a sports person, I can't cross over into that world. Yes, you can. And this proved it. It was the most successful, like, Disney Channel original movie ever.
Yeah.
Ever. The first one. Ever.
Yeah. The first one was huge, and I just remember, like, it wasn't just like a thing at school. You'd go to school and you'd talk to your friends about what you did on the weekend. I'm talking like everybody, maybe not liked it, but everybody knew what it was and everybody had watched it. It was just crazy the amount of people that knew the songs within a couple of weeks, because it would replay on Disney Channel like a lot, because I think they knew that it was a fairly big deal. So you'd see it replay on Disney Channel and you would learn these songs. And you remember on the Disney Channel, they would have, like, in the ad breaks and the commercial breaks, they would play songs sometimes, like little snippets of songs, and they would play High School Musical songs. I just remember, like vividly, I remember just like, I've got to learn these words to all of these songs. I mean, my favorite song from the first movie is probably Bop to the Top, because I'm a Sharpay and Ryan guy.
Yes!
I'm a Sharpay and Ryan guy through and through, all the way. I love my Sharpay and Ryan. But Bop to the Top, I used to remember the dance moves. I'm pretty sure if I put it on, I could probably remember the dance moves.
I'm sure you could.
It was just, that was just
fabulous.
like I just, Sharpay and Ryan are just like everything to me. Were you Sharpay and Ryan, or are you more Troy and Gabriella?
It's so funny. I loved all of them.
Yeah.
But like I couldn't really find like my person, like if it were me, like what character would be me other than Mrs. Darbus.
Oh
like
my
I would
god,
totally
yes.
be Mrs. Darbus. Like I was the
Yes.
theater person because I was older, right? At that point.
Yeah.
And like when I really got into it and then I directed it, I was Mrs. Darbus in the show. They had me play her.
God bless.
So it was like I lived my dream life. And
That is
like
amazing.
if that was my job for real, I would be exactly like her.
Oh my
That's
god.
showbiz.
I want you. I mean, like everything, like the dressing, like
The whole
I want,
thing.
yeah, the whole get up. Like, that's amazing.
The whole vibe. I like didn't want to get out of my costume because first of all, it's so comfortable because it was just like basically a really elaborate muumuu with like scarves and like, you know what I mean? And like a big cape kind of vibe. It was like the dopest, most comfortable thing I've ever worn in my life. Plus she's just so badass. She's such a diva. And I was like, oh God,
She
give
is.
me
She's
life.
got like this sass about her that she's like.
Yeah.
She's not like hella rude, but she certainly has a sass about her that you're like, yeah,
Oh, she's
I feel
sassy.
you. Yeah, I feel you. But the first one, favorite song from the first movie.
Oh man.
I know that's
This is
a loaded question.
This is a loaded question because, this is my favorite of the three because it was the first one and it changed so many things. And I think there are better songs, I feel like, in the other two, right? That we can really pull out and be like, yes, this is the one. But I honestly, like, the Get Your Head in the Game song
Great song.
and like the Status Quo.
Oh, I
don't know
forgot. Oh
why.
my god, that's probably that's a great.
I think that's my favorite. Stick to the
my
Status Quo, I
God.
think, is my favorite song from the first movie.
So,
And
you know what it is?
it's so good. I mean, not to say Start of Something New isn't good, and Breaking Free is also good.
Breaking Free is like iconic though. Like that plays in
iconic.
clubs. That plays in
does.
clubs. Yeah, it's crazy.
They remixed it, hysterical. But I
People
think
go
the
nuts.
Stick
By the
Status
way,
Quo is good.
people go like batshit crazy for it.
Yeah,
Myself
they're
included.
screaming and singing. Are you kidding me?
We're all in this together is something that the dance is just.
Dance is
that's
iconic.
just like the song, I guess, from that movie in terms of like it's the come together moment, like the aha moment, I guess.
Yep. It's a good one. It had a solid soundtrack, but
that would be the way I describe the first one.
It's solid. It's solid.
It's solid.
The soundtrack is solid. There are better songs from movie 2 and 3.
Yeah. Moving on to number 2. A lot of people I've talked to think this is the best one. I don't agree. I think the third one is the best one, but that's just my personal take on it. But number 2 is, I don't know. I feel a little bit of a disconnect with number 2 because they're not really in school.
Yeah. It's summer.
It's summer, so it's like they got jobs. I mean, they have that song when they're at the job, that Work This Out song, and they're like, using like the utensils and that as like instruments and stuff. I always remember that. But I don't know. How do you feel about number 2? Because everyone seems to love number 2.
I mean, it's okay. It's not the same vibe or feel as the first one, which it shouldn't be, but I feel like it's the sophomore film. It's my least favorite of the 3.
Mine too.
And however, what time is it?
Oh.
You Are the Music in Me.
Oh.
And I gotta go my own way. You can't.
Every day too. Every day is a fantastic.
Every day is a great one. That's another shout. Great one.
Yeah.
These songs, fantastic. Movie, didn't really like it. The songs? Though.
Which You Are the Music and Me do you like better? The one with Gabriella and Troy or Sharpay and Troy?
Sharpay and Troy.
Me too. Yes. It's so much better, isn't it? It's just like
it is so much better.
And it's like and when Troy goes real high pitched and you're like, hell yeah, Troy, you do.
Yes, Troy. You work, honey. Yes, Zac Efron.
Every High School Musical fan will know that there's a secret song in that movie.
That's
every
true.
High School Musical fan, every true High School Musical fan will know that. I always. Please, if you will, Queen, what is the title of that song? Because I always botch the crap out of it. It's like...
I couldn't say it if I want. Humu Numu Yukanuquapuai. Something like that.
You got
it's
there.
Terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, great track, but can't say the title for the life of me. But obviously, as I stated before, anything with Sharpay, I just think is, fabulous. What a song. What a song. She's just on the pool chair and she's just having a grand old time because she is, fabulous. She is fabulous. That movie does have better. Hey, what about that Miley Cyrus cameo when she pops in and you're like, holy shit, it's Miley Stewart from Hannah Montana.
And you're like, yo, what up?
Your mind. Like, I just lost my
crossover.
Mind. Oh man, just that again. That movie has probably. I don't really dislike any of the music in any of the films really, but particularly in the second one, I think all of the songs are really good.
Yeah, I didn't really hate anything.
No.
Some of them, like Bet on It, it's okay. All for One, it's okay.
But
the rest I feel like were drums. Great. Yes, exactly. But I feel like the rest were really, really solid. Like not besides the bangers, they were very solid songs. Yeah. And then there was hit after hit after hit in this movie. Yeah.
I agree. The second one, again, like I agree with you. It's the least favorite of the 3 with me, just with the movie itself. But the music, I love the music.
Do you have the music in you? Do you have it?
I have it. The Sharpay version, of course.
Obviously.
what an absolute queen.
Is there a question?
Hey, fellow queen.
That's right.
She's a queen with a KW.
She is. She's a queen. That's her.
third one is my favorite movie. I love the third one. I do recall watching this in the theaters. I'm pretty sure I did. I think I dragged my dad to watch it with me, actually. Because I was like, we're going to watch this dang movie. My favorite song ever out of High School Musical is in this film. Just Want to Be With You is my favorite High School Musical song ever. I love that song. Just everything about the third one to me just like was just like a nice like ending, and it was like the nice little bow on the top of this present. But the music in the third one I think was particularly great. I Want It All is a magical song, and it was so much bigger because they obviously had a bigger budget, but it was so much bigger. Like, it was so extra, and that's what you want from High School Musical. It's musicals at the end of the day are weird movies because they randomly just start singing and you're like,
they do,
what the hell? But you want it to be extra. I mean, Grease, you look at Grease, you go back, obviously a lot of people have the similarities between the two and they think it's like a modern day Grease. I know a lot of people said that, but
it's not, though.
It's not. It's
Grease is its own entity.
They're very different films, but I guess in the terms of like a musical and it being so, Grease was, how extra is Grease? When you watch Grease now, it's like, this is the most extra shit I've ever seen. But it's fantastic.
But
I mean, that's what you want from musicals are extra. Anything that's like a dull music, I don't want dull, you know, like, I don't want, sometimes I don't want musicals to make a lot of sense in a weird way, like, because they are just random, they just randomly are talking and then they just start breaking into a song. Like, that doesn't just genuinely happen in a conversation. But I want musicals to be extra. So High School Musical 3 is, I mean, I Want It All is so extra. Look at, they have like dances and they have everything. That's like, visually, that is like my favorite High School Musical thing. I visually, I love I Want It All.
Yep.
But High School Musical 3, what is your fond memories with music and moments in that movie with that one?
This was another like thing similarly to the first one. Like, it reminded me so much of my own experience in theater because they put on a show within a show, which is so funny. Yeah. And that just for me like brought back everything I love about being a theater kid.
Yeah.
That's like my really fond things when they're trying to do it and putting it together, and I Want It All and A Night to Remember and The Boys Are Back. I mean, it's so stupid, but it's so good.
Troy had a great song in that one. That Scream song is fantastic.
Sure did. The Scream song for him, and I was just going to bring that out. Because this, for me, like, Zac Efron was such a breakout star from this whole entire thing because, you know, I think it was great casting. I mean, he looks like a jock, and he looks like somebody who wouldn't be interested in theater.
Pretty. He's a very
pretty boy. Like, he's your classic, like, all-American jock vibe.
He's jacked and now. He's way bigger. He's jacked.
Child. He's jacked. But like listening to him sing this song by himself, oh my God, yes. And it just like shone through, and the kid's just, he's talented, and it was so nice. He's got a beautiful voice, and this song I thought was everything.
He really is the breakout star from this. I know Vanessa Hudgens had like a few things, and Ashley Tisdale's done a few things, but for the majority of things, Zac Efron is a star. And I think everyone kind of knew that he was going to probably be the breakout from this.
Yeah.
He has everything that you kind of need, that you need to make it in Hollywood, I guess. But that song is fantastic. It showed him in those movies because he had songs, obviously, but that song is miles better than anything.
Leaps and bounds better.
Like miles better. And the visual of that song too is really cool. He's in a school and it's nighttime, and it's really cool. But that movie to me is just perfect. I just love that movie through and through. It's just fantastic. Overall, with High School Musical, what is your favorite High School Musical song overall out of all the movies?
Oh God,
that's a hard question too. I know.
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick to the status quo. I think it's just it's that nostalgia. It's that first one for me, Josh. I just can't get past the first film.
That's fair.
I just love it so very much that I feel like I just have to.
The visual of that is great too, because you have all
just such a great
Sharpay's looking over and like
surveying
Gabriella
her territory.
Gabriella walks in. I can't have people talking about me. It's like it
can't have people talking about me. She's just like,
so extra. And I love it.
And the nerd stands up and she's like, I'm gonna break dance. And, oh my God, it's just so good.
So good. It's so good.
What about you? What do you love?
Just Want to Be With You. Just Want to Be With You is my favorite of all of them. That's my favorite song of the entire franchise. I I do like I Want It All a lot. That's probably my second. And then I like Every Day. Every Day is fantastic. Every Day is
you love
fantastic.
that song.
It's a great. It's better than Breaking Free, and a lot of people are like, "Oh no!" But Every Day is a great song. It's a great song, and it's very similar. Like they're both, duet. They're very similar songs. But I just think Every Day is the better of the two. I didn't really like they had like a song together in the third one that why can't I think of the name when they're dancing in the third one? Troy and Gabriella. Is it Right Here, Right Now?
Right Here, Right Now, right?
And they're dancing. I don't love that one as much. I don't know. Like maybe it's a little boring to me, but all great songs. Here's a question for you though that some people can go two ends of the sword with it. How do you feel about camp rock?
I'm gonna have a hot take. I never watched that.
Oh, whoa. Camp Rock was great. It wasn't as good as High School Musical, but that made Demi Lovato. That had the Jonas Brothers in it. Oh my God.
Yeah, see, another hot take. I don't like Demi Lovato and I don't like the Jonas Brothers. So it wasn't for me. I'm going to make Josh cry, but
oh my God. I mean,
yeah.
Some people are like that though. I've talked to people that watch High School Musical and they're like, I will not watch Camp Rock. Or there's some people that hate Camp Rock because of High School Musical, or vice versa. I love Camp Rock. I didn't love the second one, but the first one was great. That's a hot take for my ears to even listen to.
Sorry, pal.
How can you not like the Jonas Brothers? Oh my God.
Easily.
Oh my God. They even had a show on Disney. Oh my God.
I didn't like that either. Now, here's another hot take for you. I don't actually think he sings very well, and particularly Nick Jonas. I don't think he sings as well as people think he does. And
I'm gonna have a heart attack. Nick's my favorite.
And he was in the Les Mis redo anniversary thing on PBS, and he sucked as Marius. So
I don't know. I never watched that, but oh my God, Nick Jonas is my favorite Jonas. Oh. How dare you disrespect me on a show that's literally my name? It's literally my name, Josh. Queen.
I'm so sorry, Josh.
It's fine.
But I love
I'll let
Minogue,
you off.
So forgive me.
What was that? Sorry.
I said I love Kylie Minogue, so forgive me.
You redeemed yourself. Kylie Minogue is fantastic. Not her new stuff. Her new stuff is bad. The
old Kylie Minogue.
Kylie Minogue. Oh man. The real Kylie Minogue. Was she actually a big deal in the States, or do people just ham that up for my Australian ears?
I mean, it wasn't as big of a deal as I think sorry.
It's fine. I know that she I know that she had somewhat kind of a successful career in the States and that, but I don't think it was very huge.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't huge.
But she's great. Shout out to you, Kylie Minogue, if you're listening to this. I'm sure she is.
Shout out. She is.
All right.
She has opinions about High School Musical too, Josh.
Imagine. Favorite Disney television movie, whatever, of all time. What's your favorite piece of Disney thing ever?
Of an original TV movie?
Anything Disney related. What is your favorite entertainment thing of Disney ever? Movie, television show, anything.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh, shit. This is really tough for me. Mary Poppins.
Classic.
I can't not. I mean, she's practically perfect in every way. I don't know how you
can't really.
I don't know how you take that. Julie
no wrong
Andrews
answer, but that's definitely not a wrong answer. You know what I mean? There's no wrong answer, but
she's iconic. I love her. Yeah. I love everything Mary Poppins.
What about
that? Was my fantasy as a kid.
What would be your favorite cartoon of all time? Whether it's Disney or not, I don't mind.
My favorite. Well, we'll go Disney cartoon. My favorite Disney cartoon. TV or movie?
Either. Movie.
I'll go movie.
Sure, movie.
My favorite cartoon Disney movie. Oh, this is going to break my heart. Okay. Beauty and the Beast.
Also good. I
love it.
I don't think
Gaston.
I don't think I've ever watched Beauty and the Beast.
What?
I don't think
Josh, do me a favor, okay?
They remade that too, didn't they?
They did with Emma Watson. It was fantastic. And Luke Evans as Gaston. Come on. And the guy who plays Olaf is LeFou, which is fantastic. So
another hot take. Never watched Frozen.
Are you kidding?
Never watched Frozen. I know the songs.
We have work to do.
I know the songs. obviously, but I've never watched Frozen.
Okay, well, do me a favor. Watch Beauty and the Beast. Pay special attention to Gaston and LeFou, because I feel like you'd be all about that.
Okay.
And Crazy Dad Maurice. I feel like you'd be all about it.
I will do that. I will do that, and I'll report back to you. I'll slide into those DMs.
Slide in my DMs and let me know. Beauty and the Beast is very, very special. But it's hard for me to choose one, because I also, like, growing up, I had Aladdin and The Little Mermaid and The Lion King. And, you know, it was such an iconic Disney time period from the late 80s into the 90s. It's very hard. The
Aristocats? Oh my god.
Yeah, the Aristocats. Yeah, that was great.
My probably favorite kind of...
What about you? Yeah, tell me.
It's probably Fox and the Hound. I love Fox and the Hound.
Great one!
Yeah, I love Fox and the Hound. That always holds a very special... I don't know what it is about it. I couldn't even really tell you the last time I watched it, but it's probably my favorite. It's just very much... It's visually, I like it. I don't know. There's something about it. Obviously, animals and stuff like that. Oh my god, Fox and the Hound is so good.
It's what I'm supposed to do.
I love Fox and the Hound. That's probably like my favorite. You know, I've said Toy Story 2 is my favorite movie, but like that's different to me. It's more, I don't know. There's something different about it. Like it's a cartoon, but it's not a cartoon. If you understand, it's like more animation. I kind of set them apart. I don't know why, but Fox and the Hound is very much like
good one.
It's just a very. I just love that movie. I also like 101 Dalmatians. I like that movie.
I like that one too. Cruella de Vil was a great villain. You know the other thing too, Josh, that we didn't talk about, but I'll tell you briefly. I like villains better than I like the heroes in most of the films. I'm a Disney villain.
We like the heels. Don't worry.
We do. That transitions into Disney too, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. They are. They're great heels. They are. When you actually think of it from a wrestling standpoint, and you watch these movies, and you get in the wrestling zone, which most of the time we are always in somewhat of a wrestling mindset. They're great heels, and more heels should take note from how Disney characters are heels, because most of the time they are bad people, but they have a reason why they're being bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best.
There's always something going on. Deeper storyline. Yes.
They all have. Ursula has a
banger of a storyline.
She's horrible, but you understand why.
100%. 100%.
They all do. All those Disney princess kind of films and those Disney movies just in general, even to this day, all the bad people have reasons why they're bad. Someone's done them wrong, or they've done something that's made them this way. Even Star Wars, even Harry Potter, all of it do. They all have reasons of why they're doing these horrible things. And that's the best villains. It's the best heels in wrestling, is when you can go, I hate what you're doing, but I get it.
Totally.
They should all
spot on, Chashi. Spot on.
All should take note. But villains, who's your favorite villain of all time? Just in general. I don't care if it's Disney. I don't care if it's whatever.
Oh my god. Like Scar though. Oh, Scar's he's what's up. And my favorite villain in general would be probably the Joker.
I'm just about to butt in and say the Joker, because the Joker.
Yeah, I think he's my favorite villain of all time.
Joker. Yep. Have you watched the new Joker?
I really have, yes.
I have not yet. I want to.
Josh, get there.
Yeah, a lot of people saying it's fantastic.
I saw it over a week ago, and I still am in my feelings about it.
That's
still.
A good thing, yeah.
That's a good movie. Yeah. I walked out of that film totally speechless. I can't wait for you to watch it so we can talk about it.
I love Harley Quinn too. She's probably my favorite superhero villain, whatever
She's the anti-hero, like Deadpool.
Yeah, like Deadpool. Oh, Deadpool's fantastic. I love Deadpool. What just a crude man. Just wow.
It's awesome though, isn't it?
I love it. But Harley Quinn, I always have loved Harley Quinn of that kind of time. I wasn't really big into superhero movies. I'm not really a huge Marvel fan or anything I'm not huge into it. It's not to say that I'm not a fan. I love Batman and stuff like that. He's DC, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's DC.
So is the Joker. Yeah, I'm more of a Marvel girl, but you can't go wrong with Batman and the Joker and Harley
Batman's
Quinn
great.
and Catwoman.
Because I always love Poison Ivy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I always
Poison Ivy.
But I mean, the first ever Batman movie that I saw was Batman and Robin. So take that for what you will. That's terrible.
Well,
that's a horrible.
sorry.
That's a horrible movie.
Just go to the
Arnold
Dark Knight series. Should be alright.
Yeah. And then when I watched the Dark Knight, I'm like, oh, this is what Batman's meant to be like. It's not meant to be George Clooney.
Agreed. Yes, it has its nostalgia, but it's not quite right.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it, and it's not. And Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy, and you're like, oh. This isn't good.
No, it's not.
It was just bad casting in that one.
Yeah, you're right. It was bad
casting. But yeah, like villains and you can't go wrong with the Joker. The Joker is so batshit crazy. And from what I'm understanding, obviously no spoilers, but what I'm understanding is you understand why he is like he is a lot more in this film.
That is exactly correct.
Good.
I won't say anything else because
of course not.
It would give away too many things. But
probably go watch it next week.
You keep me posted. You let me know.
Everyone's kind of telling me to get off my butt and go watch it because even if you're not really big into those kind of movies, they just say this is just a downright good movie.
It's not even so much that it's the Joker; it's the story of this person.
Yeah,
and it's a commentary on mental health, and that's a lot of people.
A lot of people have their opinions on it, as the world always does. Of course, everything
as they do.
I mean, you could move your left toe the wrong way, and people are like, "What are you doing?" But I've seen a lot of people being like, "Glorifies this, glorifies that." I'm like, it's a movie. It
doesn't really glorify any. I wouldn't say that it glorifies anything. Much like people say, like, video games cause people to be violent. I mean, listen, if that's what you're doing 24/7, 365, I can understand how it would have a psychological effect on you. But for people who do things in a healthy way, and just like, I'll play some violent video games every now and then, I'll watch a violent movie every now and then, and know the difference between right and wrong, I think that's different.
Yeah.
And I don't think it glorifies anything because of the way that they tell the story.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'll keep you posted.
Let me know.
I'll definitely watch it though. I have some homework to do. But yeah, it is really weird how the world reacts to that kind of stuff with movies and video games. I mean, I play a lot of violent video games, but I'm not a murderer. So
right.
I mean,
listen,
last I checked, I'm not. So
well, maybe tomorrow.
Who knows? But I play a lot of like Mortal Kombat, and I know you play. You're a Mortal Kombat fan, so
yes, I love Mortal Kombat. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go do that to somebody. You know,
no,
I feel like
physically I couldn't. I'm not very athletic.
Me neither. I'm not that athletic. I mean, I'm athletic, but I'm not that athletic.
That's like I can't do
all
shoot
day
fireballs
athletic.
out of my hands.
Yeah, sadly, we're not magical. I wish I was Harry Potter, though. I would tell you that.
Is Harry Potter your go-to if you wish you were Harry Potter in some other life?
I don't know if I wish I was Harry Potter, but I wish I was a witch or a wizard, as they refer to them in that world. And to have magical powers, I would totally use a magic wand for it. Yes. Or I'd be like Scarlet Witch and do telekinesis and move shit with my mind.
Oh, that'd be good. Oh, that'd be good. I'd like to be invisible. That'd be my go-to power, would be invisible.
That's pretty good.
I would like to be invisible. It was always like invisible, I'd like to fly, but I think invisibility would be way better.
Well, there's so many things you could do.
Yeah. Just
stealth mode.
Just this. Imagine being like, I don't feel like talking to anyone in a store. I need stuff. I'm just going to be invisible.
Well, see, in Harry Potter, they have the invisibility cloak, buddy. Exactly. So listen, I can help you.
Yeah, exactly. Just and you're good. To end this conversation, though, Queen, this always makes people happy. No matter, I don't. This hasn't failed me yet, so I'm hoping it won't fail now. We need to talk about for 5 minutes or so the amazingness that is Hocus Pocus.
Yes, can we? I was saving it for last because I was going to say there's one thing we haven't talked about.
God. All right, to end this lovely episode, please just give me all of the thoughts on Hocus Pocus.
There's really only one thing that needs to be said, and that is, book. That's all you need to say. It's the best film ever made of all time ever.
It's so good. I can watch that movie over and over and over.
I watch it thousands of times. Yeah.
It's so good. I just don't ever touch that movie because it's just perfect.
Yeah. It's the best thing that's ever happened ever, and I'm so happy they have never remade that film. And it is a classic.
Knock on wood.
They better not ever do it because you can't find anybody better than those three. Sorry.
I refuse to watch anything related to any kind of redo or remake or whatever with that. Nope. Not happening. Not happening.
literally the best thing ever. I watch it all the time, of course, during Halloween, and then every now and then throughout the year I'll put it on because it's just there's so many iconic lines, so many iconic situations. I'm from New England. It's all about New England. It's literally the best. It's just like, oh, that looks like my street.
It outgrows its festivities. Like there's a few Christmas movies that I could watch any time of the year. There's a few like Halloween based movies that I'll watch. Obviously I'll watch them any time of the year anyway, but there is a few of that outgrow. Hocus Pocus is definitely one of them. I'm so glad that you feel me on. I feel like everybody has somewhat love for that movie. I've never come across anyone that doesn't like that movie.
I would be very upset if they didn't like it because I just wouldn't understand why you don't like it. It's just so magical, literally and figuratively, and it's your classic film. It's not going to have the best special effects on the planet, but that's what makes it so much more endearing. I feel like.
Agree.
It's just so good. Plus, Bette Midler sings to you.
Bette Midler, what a woman! What a woman!
Spill.
Damn!
Give it to me, girl. Give it to me.
Just makes me smile ear to ear. Well, final question. Then you mentioned earlier your favorite holiday of the year is Halloween, but you're also a Christmas girl. What would be your go-to Christmas movie? If you told me to put on a Christmas movie, what would you be telling me to put on?
The Santa Claus original first one.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
right?
That's
a good one.
Good Christmas movie. I love a good Christmas movie. I love a good Christmas movie. Do you know what I always watch at Christmas time? And you're probably going to be like, oh my God, Josh, no. Mean Girls.
Oh my God. I watch that every October 3rd.
It's technically at Christmas time.
It is. They sing it. They do. They do Jingle Bell Rock.
I wouldn't call it a Christmas movie, quote unquote, but it's at Christmas time. So I watch it at Christmas time. What a movie. Mean Girls is mwah.
One of the best things.
Movie.
I say boo you horror on the regular.
Oh, me too. I made out with a hot dog. That was one time.
Oh, it was one time.
I could just sit here and probably make an entire podcast out of quotes from that movie.
You really could. You go, Glenn. Go.
You go, Glenn. Coco. Oh my God. If you're from Africa, why are you white? Oh my God. You can't just ask people why they're white.
You can't just ask people why they're white. There's a 40% chance that it's already raining.
She's touching her boobs.
Yes!
What a great movie. And there's just so many people in that movie. Like, obviously, Lindsay Lohan's in that movie. You got Amy Poehler's in that movie. Tina Fey's in that movie. Like, there's so many people in that movie that you're like,
Don
wait a
Cheadle.
minute. Yeah, they're just like, you're just like, I see you in other things, but you're always going to be associated, for the most part, with that movie. When Regina's mum is holding the dog and it's biting her nipple, like, oh my God.
Yes. I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool
mom.
Get out of here. You're doing great, sweetie.
Yes.
The remake that they did for Ariana Grande's music video when Kris Jenner's in the audience. I can't.
I had all the feels for Thank You Next. I was like, I didn't even really like that song that much, but it made me like that song.
Yeah, the video made it the whole thing. Yes.
Oh, it was just perfect. It was just, oh my God. Just that whole movie is just wonderful. That is like the best way that I could end this podcast is Mean Girls, because now it's just like, now we got something to go off of. The next time we come on here, we're going to have like a little Mean Girls catch up, if you will.
Yes, let's do it.
We should do a Mean Girls watch along.
I'm so down.
Me too. All right, Queen. Thank you so much for being here on the Josh Robinson Show. I'll post all your links below, of course, in the description. But where can we find you on Twitter and all of your stuff that you got coming up? Anything to plug? Anything cool coming up that you want to plug? Because this comes out today. Well, tomorrow in your land, but tonight in my land. So, anything you want to plug?
Well, sure. Well, first I want to say thank you, Josh. And, you're one of the only people that I can get on the mic with and chat for basically an hour and a half about Disney and High School Musical and Hocus Pocus, and I love it. So
we can chat about anything at this point.
Anything. We talk about everything, but the fact that we could jive on this is the best. So
I agree.
You guys can find me at TheQueenOfNE on Twitter. My show, of course, is Queen's Court. It drops every single Wednesday as part of the hashtag Queen of Pup Connection. You can find it wherever podcasts are found. I am starting a brand new series on Queen's Court. It's called Queenie Guides. And its first episode is dropping on Wednesday. And I'm not going to say anything about that, but stay tuned because it's new and fresh and fun. I'm currently in season 2 of Wrestling Real World in my DMs. And it's very interesting. And we'll have that reunion show coming up soon. Talk It Tuesdays on my Twitch at TheQueenOfNE on Twitch is every single Tuesday. And I'm on DYWTSB every single Friday and Sunday. So
this girl is everywhere.
That's all my stuff. I'm everywhere. And I'm smart
everywhere.
And on, oh my God, I'm everywhere. But I love it. It's so much fun.
And she's secretly sitting there praying to the gods right now that she can be cast in the new High School Musical television series.
Yeah, call me.
Me too. At Disney Plus, we're here. You don't even have to pay us that much. I'll do this for very cheap.
Just like give me somewhere to live in LA where you're shooting, I'm assuming, and like I'll be fine.
Fly me over and I'm good to go.
Let's do it. Can we please be their theater coaches? Because I would die.
Oh my God. I'm very excited for that show. I'm very excited for that show.
I can't wait. Disney Plus.
Disney Plus in general, I'm just going to be like, you can have all of my money. Here's my bank account details. You can have them.
Yep. Everything. Take it all. Shut up and take my money.
So everyone listening right now, make sure this time next month, you go and sign up for Disney Plus and you watch all your favorite Disney shows, all your favorite Disney movies, Pixar, Star Wars. They're going to have a lot of Marvel stuff on there, I'm pretty sure, aren't they?
Yeah.
All that stuff's going to be on there. Pretty much everything that's going to be on there except for Netflix originals at this point.
Right.
So, do you think Netflix are going to take a little bit of a hit from this, or is it too different?
I think it's going to be very different, and a few things are going to go over there, but I think Netflix has enough, and they'll be able to pick up some more, I think, to kind of combat that. But I will say the Marvel stuff not being on there would be a hit, because they have everything, so.
I think it's going to be that, I think they have a deal over in the States, too. It's like ESPN and stuff is partnering with Disney, I think.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so you get a bang for your buck, if you will. It's going to be a clear number 2, I think. I think it's going to be
so too.
It's going to be a real clear number 2. It's very exciting, though. I'm very excited. Everyone go and sign up for Disney Plus whenever. I think you can sign up now. I'm pretty sure you can sign up and be like, get ready. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's like a pre-order, basically. Yeah.
Pre-order a subscription service.
Subscription service. I've never done that before either, but...
Disney will probably be the first time I'll probably do it. But yeah, I get it a week later, but that's okay. Queen can be like, this thing is the greatest thing ever. Give it all your money for that first week before I can get it. But I am going to have so much fun with it. I hope everybody does. Make sure to, if you're watching on YouTube, give this a like, give this a comment, a sub. It all helps. If you're listening to this, that's fine too. 5 stars on iTunes, review, all that good stuff. You can find me on Twitter at JoshRobinson00. It's all down if you're watching on video, it's all down in this corner right here. You find all my links you need to find. And please, I always say this at the end of this show because it is very important, and Queen will back me up on this. Please make sure to be kind to one another because it is very much needed in every aspect of life. Agreed?
Agreed.
Please be kind to one another, and I'll catch you next week. Or if you're listening on Friday, I'll catch you on Wrestling Reverb. See you later.